Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about transducers. Transducer is an instrument that is used to convert one form of energy into another form. That is electrical signal into mechanical signal or mechanical signal into electrical signal, or any motion signal will be converted to electrical signal. One form of energy will be converted to another form. That is transducer. Let us go for definition. What are the classifications? How a transducer works? All this. Basically, what is a transducer? As an electronic device that converts energy from one form to another form, various purposes like measurement of information transfer, pressure sensors. Common examples including microphones, loudspeakers, thermometers, position and pressure sensors, like that. If you go for scan, in scanning, we are measuring the signals by processing waves into the body of a person. A transducer converts whatever be the signal go for input. After that, what is the electrical energy output? If you give the mechanical input, it will obtain electrical output. That is inverse transducer or transducer. If you give whatever be the electrical energy, if you are obtaining or as the output, it is a electrical transducer. If you give electrical input, if another energy is obtaining, that is inverse transducer. Coming to electrical transducers. What is a transducer? A device which converts any physical quantity into proportional to electrical signal is called a transducer. The electrical signal produced by a voltage or current or frequency. The transducer uses many effects which can conversion. The process of transferring signal from one to another is called transduction. The basic block diagram of any transducer is like this. Whatever be the non-electrical quantity, that will be converted into electrical quantity by using transducer. Whatever be the non-electrical quantity, that will be converted into electrical quantity by using sensing element and transduction element. The process of transforming signal from one to another is called transduction. A transducer is also called as a pickup. The transduction element transforms the output of sensor to electrical input. You can see the basic block diagram of transducer or pickup. Whatever be the signal we want to measure, non-electrical quantity is given to sensing element. The sensing element is the sensor. Sensor senses the electrical input, non-electrical input. After that, we given for transduction element. In the transduction element, the sensor output will be converted into electrical signal. A transducer, we have two main components. One is sensing element, another one is transduction element. The main sensing element is sensor. The physical quantity, or if you go for sensor, temperature sensor. A sensor, temperature sensor senses the temperature and send to transduction element. If you go for speed sensor senses the speed, number of pulses that will be counted by transduction element. Similarly, transduction element purpose is to convert whatever be the non-electrical quantity into proportional to electrical signal. You can see what is the transduction element. A thermocouple used to generate a voltage corresponding to heat that is generated at the junction of two dissimilar metals. Now we go for classification of transducers. The classification of transducers, so many bases are there. The classification of transducers are done in so many ways. There are so many bases. One on the basis of transduction form used as a primary and secondary transducers, and passive and active transducers, analog and digital transducers and inversely transducers. Let us discuss about classification of transducers. The classification is majorly based on transduction form used as a primary and secondary transducers, and active and passive transducers and inverse transducers. Broadly, these are the main classification of transducers. Active and passive. What is active? What is passive? If the active component is used in transducer, it is active transducers. A component whose output energy is supplied entirely by its input signal is commonly as a passive transducer. In other words, if passive transducer derive the power for translation from auxiliary source. In active transducers, there is not required any auxiliary power to their source. The active transducers, also known as self-generating type transducers, they produce their own voltage or current output. Some of the passive transducers are electrical transducers. Their electrical parameter, resistance, capacitance, etc. will be varied according to the input. Nowadays we are using mostly passive transducers. Resistive transducer is a passive transducer. It is. So many examples for resistive transducer is resistance strain gauge, resistance thermometer, resistance hygrometer, hot wire meter, thermistor. All these comes under resistive transducer, that is passive transducer. They require external source.